So there was these guys, there were three of them, they really started bugging me. They just started calling me Pretty Fur. Remember Christopher, right? Pretty Fur. Pretty Fur, come here, Pretty Fur. Oh, you look good, Pretty Fur. And of course they had a southern accent, because anytime you talk about possible sodomy, it has to be in a southern accent. So, can't write this stuff. So they Pretty Fur, and I was like, these guys are assholes, man. Look at this. This is bad. And like, for now, it's like, wouldn't even bug you. Who cares? But at the time, for an 18-year-old kid, like, this is bad. They call me Pretty Fur, and they're blowing me kisses. Like, these guys, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get it, So I was rooming with this guy called Catfish Charlie. He was a guy from Minneapolis, and he was on the tour. Never made it to any level, but like, just a really cool guy, really nice. And he really understood that I wanted to be a wrestler. Like, he really got it, because I was like the young guy, I wanted to be a wrestler. But he had a good heart. And we were rooming together, which was really good, because they could have put me with those guys, and it was just a bad scene, and it wouldn't have been good. So Charlie was like, listen, he sat me down, I was like, Charlie, you're gonna beat these guys up, they're being jerks, forget it. He goes, listen, that's when he kind of explained to me what a rib was. These guys are ribbing you, they're trying to push you to the brink, they're trying to get you out of here. Just don't let it bug you. If you let it bug, if you let them bug you, you're gone. And I was like, really? It's just, they're harmless. Don't even worry about it. Just play it off. Call you Pretty Fur, say, yeah, Pretty Fur, and blow him a kiss back, they'll leave you alone. So I was like, wow, that's cool. And then he's like, if you really want to be a wrestler, I'm going to tell you some stuff about it. But this was in 1989, that's what it was. Once again, no internet, no insider sheets, no nothing. Like, you didn't really know what was going on. Like, you had inklings that maybe some things in wrestling were different, that weren't actually legit, but you didn't know for sure. You just didn't. At least I didn't. So Catfish Charlie told me, like, listen, when you are, if you want to be in this job, and you start explaining, when the promoter decides who wins the matches and who loses the matches, and it was a little bit of a shock, but it wasn't a surprise. Like, I kind of knew that. I had a high school wrestling league that we used to wrestle in the gymnasium on these porta pits that we would tell the gym teacher we were going to do gymnastics. There's a big curtain, so we'd close the curtain, put up the porta pits, and then take out our little piece of paper with all the matches written on. He'd be 10 guys, my friend Wallace, I'd be 10 guys, raving schizos, like just playing 10 different characters. But we were having our matches, and then, so we knew how things worked, but then when he told me that this is how it works, I was like, okay, well, it makes sense. But when champions win, like, they really win, right? And he's like, no, they don't. What? When champions win the belt, they really don't win the belt? No. Hulk Hogan didn't actually win? No, he didn't. Sting didn't actually? No, he didn't. You might as well just like, there's no Santa Claus. I was so like, oh my God. But then I understood kind of what that was really clicking. Oh, then everything kind of rushed into place, clicked into place, and now I get it. And that was Catfish Charlie helped me out there. He saved me from the rib and kind of gave me the heads up, so I wasn't like a mark actually working on this trip, because no one was going to smart me up to anything. And that really was, he really helped me out a lot. I've never seen him since. I don't even know if he's existing now or if he's ever going to read this, but it's one of those things that you just never know how you're going to impact somebody. And he probably doesn't even remember that, but I'll never forget it, So, and then when I started going to Mexico, they didn't like foreign guys there, young guy, long blonde hair, coming in there, and a pretty boy, or whatever it was. But because I had such good training, it didn't bother me. Get punched in the face, I'd punch him back twice as hard, and they'd leave me alone. Amigo, ¿cómo estás? How you doing? Same thing in Japan. You had to kind of gain your space a little bit. Once you gain your space, you got respect, and then you could actually have a match. But other than that, I never really had any. I learned properly. You keep your mouth shut. You're nice to everybody. You say hello. You always have a beer in your hand. As long as you have a beer in your hand, everyone leaves you alone. Where's the beer? Aren't you gonna drink a beer? I'm not drinking it. Well, you are now. You have a beer in your hand. It could be like a 3-hour-old beer, warm, standing and drinking. You just got one. I mean, that's how you used to get along with the vets. You'd be one of the gang and one of the boys, and then everyone would leave you alone and be cool with you. Especially if you were respectful and not a prima donna. I wasn't a prima donna until many years later.
And about Awesome Idol?
Yeah, I watched him in Stampede Wrestling a couple times, but I never crossed paths with him ever. Big Awesome Idol fan?
I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time.
Well, I actually did steal one of his promos one time at WCW, and I said, I'm Chris Jericho, I'm the man of the hour, the man of the power, the man too sweet to be sour, who is the man who's red, the man with the voice, the people's choice. And I stole it from a guy in Montreal called Floyd Creechman, but I found that Floyd Creechman stole that from us. That's not a homage. In fact, I still remember that after 10 years. It's pretty good.
First of all, it's a great honor to meet you up close in person, Chris.
Thank you.
And I hope your book has become the best seller of all time, probably like the next Mick Foley on his
Thank
book
you.
on Have a Nice Day.
Thank you.
Now, I have two questions for you. During your time working for the WWE, or also known as WWF at the time,
Yes, it is. Very well informed.
during that time, what was like the best rival that you ever had in your career? Like who you go up against? And my second question is, also during that period of time, what was the best match that you ever had that really pushed your body to the limit? Like from all the training that you record back from the days of Stu Hart's wrestling school.
Man, you got some fire there. Pushed you to the limit. Please help me. Very good. Got into it there. First question, who was my rival within the course of this book or my whole career? Both? I'll say both, just for you. Probably throughout the course of this book was always, I think Ultimo Dragon I had great chemistry with. He was a Japanese guy. He wore like a dragon costume. He was the guy who actually helped me go over to WAR, the company in Japan I worked for, which was one of the biggest companies. We were working in Mexico together. He brought me over to be his rival. And we just had great chemistry. You know, he was a great baby face. I was a great heel. We knew each other's styles. We had a real hybrid Mexican, Canadian, Japanese, European style. We had so many matches that actually it got to the point where we wouldn't even have to say anything. We just go out there and just do stuff. And they put us in a couple main events in Japan, which was unheard of because junior heavyweight guys are always not in the main event. But we were ripping it up so bad that even the big boss Tenru was like, dude, respect, man, I don't want to follow that on some of these shows. You go ahead. So that was probably my favorite guy that I ever worked through the course of this book. And probably of all time, man, I mean, I think some of my favorite stuff I ever did was with The Rock. I mean, we had, a guy said to me last night, fans were spoiled when you guys were working. And I never thought about that. Not that it was spoiled, but you had two guys that were just perfect synergy. A great baby face, once again, a great heel. Two guys that could really just say anything and make it work and push each other to the limit. And in the ring, too, and Rocky was a great wrestler, man. He was a great wrestler. I don't think we ever had a bad match. Once again, because there was so much chemistry, and also because the fans were so into it, because we did such a good job of building it up. So I mean, there was, those were probably the two standouts. I always loved working with Shawn Michaels, obviously. Benoit was great. I always had fun working with Christian, but I think Rocky and Dragon were probably my two, for the two separate stages of my career, the pre-WWE and the post. And then hardest match. There was a lot, man. There was a lot. Like the one I told you about earlier, the one in Japan was great. Any match in Japan was tough because it was a lot more hard-hitting, solid. Some people may say stiff, but if you like it that way, that's cool. Working with a guy like Haku, you'd feel it the next day. The guy can literally rip you apart. But that really pushed me to go to the limit. We had a great match in Iwate, Japan, and it was the big monster, and I was the junior heavyweight guy. And we worked such a great match. At the end of the match, people were like, we had all these false finishes where at first they were like, okay, he's gonna get killed. And then as we went going, they started getting into it, and then I became this underdog, which they also like in Japan, and started chanting my name. And I remember the kick out of his big finishes, and people would just go nuts because they thought, he's gonna win, he's gonna win. And when I finally lost, they actually gave me a standing ovation afterwards because of my fighting spirit, which is my courage and my tenacity. So he was great. Haku was great. Working with Benoit was always great. We had similar styles. We really beat the crap out of each other and just knew what to do without having to talk about it. That was very important. So the ladder match we had at the Royal Rumble 2001 was probably, I think that's one of the most underrated matches. I personally think it's better than Shawn and Razor, but Shawn and Razor was the originator.